How does a fintech startup deal with regulation concerns? Okay, this question also said, a lot of ideas seem to end up in a dead end as soon as one realizes the amount of regulatory concerns to deal with. All right, the first thing to recognize here is that not all areas of fintech are heavily regulated. Most people think of payments, lending, and traditional banking when they hear fintech, and yes, these areas are pretty regulated and you better follow the rules. If you're gonna actually trade securities with your fintech app, then yes, there's also some regulations to be careful of. Starting a stock exchange, now we're getting into the thick of it. There's actually a whole industry out there called Reg Tech, but it's mostly geared towards helping large existing institutions streamline regulatory processes, and their technology is often so expensive that it's inaccessible to fintech startups. But there's also companies like Intrinio, who just source data sets from public places and, outside of following stock exchange rules, don't really run into any regulatory concerns. There's plenty of room to innovate in lightly regulated areas of fintech. So if this is a concern of yours, then just start there. But if you're itching to start something in a highly regulated space, remember that great things are often very, very difficult. In the heavily regulated fintech space, your time, CapEx, patience, and willpower can actually become your competitive moat. Founders and CEOs who are willing to put in the hard work to get through the regulatory barriers are the ones that oftentimes win. Keep in mind that regulations do change, although not very quickly, so you've got to be agile and ready for that too. And lastly, if you're going to go this route, you better have a hell of a lot of conviction for what you are building. It took the stock exchange IEX over a year to get regulatory approval to become an exchange. An early startup plan, that's a lifetime, and it costs money to wait that long. So diving into the land of regulations wouldn't be my first choice. But if you really believe in what you're building and you've got the patience to get through the hard part, you'll probably have built something pretty formidable on the other end. So stick with it.